In the first part of this series we have explained why evolution, that is, change through time, should happen. In this part we are going to look at some of the evidence that suggests it actually does happen. One way of testing change through time is by observing living organisms. When we do so, we can indeed observe changes in a population. The soapberry bug is an insect native to the southern United States. Soapberry bugs feed by using their long beaks to reach in the middle of a fruit. One of the plants they would regularly consume is the balloon vine fruit native to southern Florida, which requires them to have rather long beaks as shown here. In the 1920s, the flat-podded golden rain tree fruit was introduced to Florida from Asia. Less long beaks are required for a bug to feed on this fruit, and as a result, the average beak length decreased. They evolved. This is only one of many examples where evolution has been observed. When the environment a population lives in changes in a way that makes certain features useless, one would expect to find useless remains of structures once useful. We call these vestigial structures. There are some populations of Stinax mexicanus, a Mexican tetra, that live in caves where there is no light. These populations still have eye sockets, but no eyes in them. But how do we know they weren't created in that way? Well, it turns out that other populations of Stinax mexicanus that still have eyes are actually of the same species as the populations without eyes, since they are able to produce viable, fertile offspring with small eyes. The North Iceland brown kiwi is a flightless bird that has tiny useless wings. The rubber boa has remnant hind limbs. Vestigial structures are also common in humans, including, but not limited to, a rudimentary tailbone, coccyx, and tiny muscles called erector pili at the base of each hair. We can also witness vestigial structures during development. Adult chickens have 3 digits in their wings and 4 in their feet, but during development an extra digit appears for a short time. On the molecular level we find vestigial traits in the form of pseudogenes. They are DNA sequences that do not code for functional RNA or protein products. Researchers have found 361 of them among the 1,858 loci on our smallest chromosomes, numbers 20, 21 and 22. If pseudogenes are as common in the rest of the genome, we have some 6,000 in all. An example of a pseudogene is the Psi alpha locus. If evolution wasn't true, none of this should be there. As Theodosius Dobzhansky wrote in The American Biology Teacher, nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evolution. Another source of evidence is the fossil record. If populations change through time, we would expect to find fossils of animals that are no longer alive today. And we do. As early as 1809, an anatomist named Baron George Cuvier published a list of 23 species that were no longer in existence. One example of an extinct species is the Irish elk. 19th century scientists suggested that they might just be American moose or European reindeer. However, Cuvier proved by anatomical analysis that the Irish elk was neither moose nor reindeer. If populations change over time, we'd expect to find that fossils and living species of the same geographical area are related. This is called the law of succession. And it is indeed true, as first published by 18th century paleontologist William Cliff and later confirmed by Charles Darwin. 2 examples of this are the fossils of Glyptodont and the contemporary Pidgin armadillo from Argentina on the left, and the fossils Diptodon and wombats from Australia on the right. We should also find transitional forms in the fossil record that share characteristics of 2 groups of animals. It is ridiculous to expect to find fossils of animals halfway between 2 modern kinds of animals. No crocodiles. Rather, one would expect fossils that share characteristics of a modern animal group and an animal group that is even older than the fossil. A transitional form doesn't necessarily have to be ancestral to the modern group. It might also just be related but slightly different to the ancestor group, a cousin species. And we indeed find such fossils. Archaeopteryx is an ancient species of bird. It is often claimed that Archaeopteryx is just a bird. It is true. Archaeopteryx is classified as a bird, mainly because of its modern feathers. However, it has a very dinosaur-like skeleton and teeth. Overall 9 specimens have been found. Other fossils showing dinosaur-bird transition include Microraptor gui, this fossil of Sinosauropteryx prima, this fossil of a young dromaeosaurid dinosaur, and these fossilized modern feathers from another dromaeosaur. I don't know why some people think humans are so special that if you don't have fossils showing their evolution is wrong. But see this video taken from Extant Dodo showing fossils of human evolution starting with very early fossils. In the next part of the series we're going to look at evidence for common ancestry.
Well, everybody's heard about the bird